UK Rwanda asylum scheme plan. Sunak plays hard against right-wing MPs. This asylum thing has been on the pipeline for a while now, and I personally do not think that this is a great idea. And I understand that they are going to pay Rwanda some money to host or to house these asylum seekers. But my only problem is before these people left their country, they didn't want to go to Africa or to come to Rwanda. Their main focus is England, is the UK. So you cannot just move them away from UK and send them to Rwanda. If they wanted to go to Rwanda, they would have gone there in the first place, not go to UK. That is my problem. If people want to go to UK, they should stay in UK, not being deported to Rwanda. That is what I have always said about this whole scheme of sending asylum seekers to Rwanda. To me, it's not really a viable option. Will they be initiated by the British Prime Minister to save his plan to deport certain asylum seekers to Rwanda be undermined by his own camp? Rishi Sunak is facing opposition from 30 right-wing conservative MPs who are backing plans to change the bill next week to make it harder for people to appeal deportation. These MPs want to introduce amendments to limit appeals in the event of migrants being deported. They believe that the current bill does not tighten the screws enough in this area. The British government disputes this. But in the event of an alliance of circumstance between the rebel branch of the Conservatives and the Labour Party opposed to the plan with Rwanda, the text could be consued. The Migration Act produced last month aims to declare Rwanda a safe country in which to send asylum seekers. Kigali has already made it clear that it will not support a program that does not respect international obligations. Well, Kigali is getting so much from the plan, from the scheme. They will be paid a lot of money to do that. And I think they have a conflict of interest in that, and they will not care if the third plan respects international rules and obligations. I think that the Westerners or the European countries shouldn't dump their responsibility on us. We Africans have carried their responsibility for far too long. They must shoulder their responsibility. I do not support the idea of Rwanda taking in asylum seekers. The UK should keep them. But let's move on to the next story for today. Rwanda suspend Kenya drug due to safety concern. Yeah, this one is also making headlines. This is going to really affect them. So let's see. Rwanda health authorities have issued a recall for antifungal tablets produced in Kenya due to safety concern. The Rwanda Food and Drug Authority has directed importers to return all batches of 200 milligram fluconazole tablets manufactured by the Kenyan company Universe Corporation. Retailers and health facilities are instructed to cease distribution and return the affected drugs. The RFDA's action comes after notifying the Kenyan manufacturer about discoloration in the tablet. 4 bulk batches of pink fluconazole 200 milligram tablets imported into Rwanda exhibited wide discoloration shortly after their shelf life began. The agency emphasized that some of those discolored tablets had already entered the Rwanda market, Health officials in Rwanda are launching an investigation to determine whether these drugs have had their adverse effect on consumers. Meanwhile, Kenyan authorities have not yet announced whether the antifungal drug commonly used to treat fungal or yeast infections will also be recalled from the local market. Well, this is a very concerning issue because it's connected with our health, and I cannot emphasize enough how important our health is to us. So the authorities must do their job to ensure that this drug is safe enough for human consumption. And in case it's found that this drug is not safe, they should be recalled. Because sometimes we in Africa take our health so common, like we really do not care so much about our health. And some of the medications that we get in Africa are so substandard. Let me tell you a particular story. I went to one market in my home country and I saw where drugs were being kept. I mean, drugs, medications that were meant for human consumption, where they were being kept and being sold. I wept. And I asked my sister, is this or are these drugs that people are going to consume? And my sister looked at me and laughed and he said, yeah, this is where most pharmacy allegedly come to buy their medications. This is where most small clinics, most like individual pharmacies, like the one in the small neighborhood, the ones in the villages, the ones in the towns. This is where they come to buy their medication. If you saw the way those drugs were being and displayed, you will feel sorry for anyone who is going to consume it. It's really terrible. And I have this feeling or this speculation that some of the health issues that we face in Africa are as a result of consuming poorly made medications or infected medications. But you know what? What do I know? After all, am I a doctor? So let's move on to the next story for today. Pan Africanists rally youth to secure Africa's future. Yeah, Pan Africanists are doing a fantastic job in Africa. And I think that for Africa to move forward, we all must push forward this whole agenda of Africa's unity. This is a very, very um, excellent thing that will move Africa forward. If only Africa could unite, come up with kind of like a confederation, that is going to help a lot. If only Africa could have a common passport, a common market, a common currency used for trading. We can keep our individual militaries. We can keep our respective rules and order in place. But just have a common passport so that all of us, the 1.4 billion Africans, can travel with ease within the African continent. And we can also have a common market where we could buy and sell things with each other. If only us in Africa could trade among ourselves way more frequent, or our trading volume would have been far more greater than our trading volume with China. Can you even imagine how impactful, how positive impact that would have on us, the African people? We have skills. We have the labor. If we could have a common market, if we could have a common financial system, maybe have some banks in place that major countries can put their reserves, can deposit their money into, and these countries can go and borrow money from this bank. And corporations in Africa can borrow money from this bank. And this bank can even fund some projects in Africa, can even start enterprises in Africa. instead of us going to the IMF and the World Bank and China to borrow money with exorbitant interest, we could just borrow from the African Bank with a lesser interest rate. We could help each other grow and develop. If only African leaders had this vision in mind. So let's see what Prof. Lumumba, um, Dr. Arikana, and Peter Obi are saying. Renowned Pan-African advocate Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, Dr. Arikana Chihambori Quote, and Peter Obi have united to encourage African youth to persevere in shaping the future of the continent. Excellent. Very excellent. The slow development of Africa, the current situation in Africa, isn't the fault of just the leaders alone, isn't the fault of just the Westerners alone. It is the fault of us too. It is our fault. We, the youth of Africa, have abandoned our responsibility to Mother Africa. We, the youths of Africa, have not held our elected representatives accountable when they do not or when they did not do what was expected of them. We have just let them run loose. We have just let them do whatever they want to do. We have made them to understand that we are powerless and they are more powerful than we. We have forgotten how much power we have. I have told many people, right? And I keep on telling people, the citizens are more powerful than the leaders. We, the people, are more powerful than our leaders. But somehow, the leaders have played over our consciousness and they have turned the whole thing all around. Now, behind our consciousness, we think that the leaders are more powerful. The leaders call the shots. The leaders do everything. And we just have to follow. But that isn't it. That is not it. And I think that is why Professor P.L.O. Lumumba and Dr. Arikana are trying to bring back the African spirit, are trying to educate the African youth to let them understand that development of Africa is the responsibility of all Africans. Every single one of us, the African, is our responsibility. So let's continue. Scheduled for January 7, the self-funded NGO event in Ghana faced an unexpected cancellation. Speaking post-cancellation, Dr. Arikana expressed regret but emphasized their duty to make amends. We acknowledge our letdown to the youth, but we recognize our duty to set things right. With the wisdom, energy, and intelligence of our youth, we believe in steering Africa towards a new path, expressed Dr. Arikana. The speakers, invited to deliver a message of hope and unity, highlighted the youth's role in shaping Africa's future. Professor P.L. Lumumba referenced Kwame Nkrumah's calls for African unity in Accra 67 years ago, noting that the message of hope will persist despite the disruption. Professor P.L.O. anticipates similar events across Africa, emphasizing the continent's growing intimacy through initiatives like the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, headquartered in Accra. Nigerian politician Peter Obi blamed Africa's challenges on failed leadership, urging a change. Despite abundant resources, he emphasized the continent's high levels of poverty, signaling the need for transformative leadership. While the convention 2024 faced an unexpected setback, the speakers remain resolute in their commitment to empowering African youth and fostering continental unity. So I think this is a very good initiative, and we really need this in Africa, because I think that in order for us to move ahead, some re-education is really necessary. And Africa is really a great place. Africa is really an excellent place. Like, Africa is a place that makes one feels at home. But for some reason, we lack a lot. And if we all could come together to work towards solving Africa's problem, I mean, everyone needs to partake in this. Like, everyone needs to take a role. Everyone must do their part. If everyone does their part, Africa would soon become something that no one would ever recognize. So, to you guys out there, let me hear your take on the stories we covered today, and let us know which of them resonated with you. Please leave us your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, because, like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Thank you very much, and please do not forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot, and we shall ever be grateful to you. So thank you very much, and see you in the next one. Peace out.